Welcome. Today I need to get grades turned in for my 11th grader, and that all brought me to this video of sharing how I record things. I do have a container from 9th and 10th grade. I am going to do a little bit of a different system for his course descriptions and just keeping more paperwork like his transcripts and everything in a notebook. So I need to put all that together. I am going to be printing off things for his course descriptions. I'll talk about that here in a minute. And just making sure I get his grades in. So those are due at the end of this month. Also, I had to make sure that he was getting his dual credit grades, or the transcript from the school that he's taken those from, sent to his umbrella school. In the state of Tennessee, we are required to be under an umbrella. So I've done that. Hopefully I'll hear from them soon about that. Now, I do have the grades. I can send in the grades and the information, but they do need to have that transcript. So, and also I am having him take a CLT. Usually I'm a little bit behind in this because the ACT, my other boys were required to take, and I know I did it a little bit earlier than their senior year. So, but I think it was because I have heard that he can take the CLT, which is the classic learning test, and I have him signed up for that. I just need to get it paid for, but I did find out, if you're interested, I did find out that it is more homeschool friendly, and you have to find out if the college they're going to will accept it, and also if you're like me and under an umbrella. This is the first year, well, last year might have been the first year that they offered it. So I think that's why we just kept putting it off. And it does say it's for 11th and 12th grade. But we have to have a computer with a video camera and a voice recorder. So when you're taking the test, when they grade it, they're also, he said they usually watch you take the test, which is sort of weird, but they put it in fast forward motion just to get an idea, make sure that you're doing this on your own and you're not having some other computer or some other way of looking up your answers. So, I mean, I do understand that. And I like the advantage of being able to do this test at home. And they do have options for in the middle of the week and on Saturdays. So need to get that finalized. So lots of little things going on here, and I'm going to take you along with me and get this done. I have a lot of his curriculum already pulled out on my table right here, and I'll show you what I'm going to do. So let's get started on that. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put this on the floor and get this notebook together and talk to you a little bit about the course descriptions. I feel like I usually go through those, especially, I guess Heart of Dakota also has like a grading system that helps me figure out how I'm going to grade it. Now, I don't follow it to the T because usually I am bad about tweaking our curriculum and maybe not doing everything, or maybe adding in something else and taking out another thing. So I know I did that for at least one subject this school year, so it's going to look a little different. But they do have a grading system and a course descriptions in the front of their guide. I actually am also able to print out the course description, so I can go through and highlight and make some marks and not have to pencil it all in. Now, if I'm looking at, like he works. I have not put that on this transcript. Let me pull his transcript out so I can tell you what is required for us and what he has done. If you are curious, he has to do 3 maths in our state. And of course he can do more. He is finishing up geometry this school year, which he has enjoyed that more than algebras. He needs 4 Englishes, and he needs 2 histories, not including economics and government, which this year he is done with that. And he did those, finished up this school year. And then for science, he needed 3 science and 2 labs. So every state is going to be different. So just make sure that you find out what your state requires. And again, if they're even thinking about college, make sure you figure out what that college requires, because it is helpful. If they don't have it, they can always make it up with just taken an extra class at the college. So it's not like it hinders them from completely going. It's just sort of helpful if it's already done. Okay, these are what I would call electives, but required electives, and that is PE, fine arts, he took a foreign language, and health. So for fine arts, I was started thinking, you haven't seen a lot of art videos on my channel. He actually does the piano, and he's been doing that for years, and I just counted that. I probably could count even more credits than what is on here. And when he was a little bit younger, his teacher went through a lot of the famous pianists, musicians from the past, and did some studies on those. So we've just counted his piano. He has played for different things. So for the fine arts, I really should make a folder for that and do like a course description for his high school years. All right. Other electives. He's done world religion, he's done Bible, logic, driver's ed, which I mentioned. Now, this school year, like I said, he only had 2 histories requirements, plus the economics and government, which he did those, and those are half credits. He did world geography and US history. This school year, he did US history too, but I didn't make him do the full-blown notebooking, all the extra work. There was a lot of books involved. He did some research, things like that. It really was a good year. I really want to do a video on this American history because it really is very good, very informative. But I put it under, I almost wish I would have put it under history, but once I put something on the transcript, that's the only thing. I can't move it around from the umbrella. But I put it under electives as a modern world history, and then I have Old Testament, survey, which was a dual credit, and computer applications, and he also did New Testament this semester. So those will dual credits, which will also count as electives. And then I need to do one for work. I haven't even put that on there yet. So I'm going to work on that. Okay, having something to do while you do this tedious work, like look at old pictures on the computer with your son, is helpful. So we are enjoying that. But I just want to tell you that I am just pulling out course descriptions from the file box and putting them in the notebook. If you do not have something you can print out for a course description, I really encourage you to write something down, whether past or present, what you're working on now, just so you have record, because you will forget from year to year. You just won't remember every detail. So it's helpful to make something, whether you write or print off, and put it in the notebook. Okay, so I'm working on this notebook, but I just wanted to give you a little bit more idea of what I'm doing here. So for astronomy, he used Master Books, the Survey of Astronomy, and it's for 9th through 12th grade is what it says. And I'm actually missing one of the videos. But I have all these books. And this is the teacher's guide, but really is the student. Like, I'm going to keep this in that file bucket that I showed you. So I have all the answers and questions in here, and he has written in that. So what I went ahead and did, I printed off just what was on their site. So it's actually a picture of all the books. I don't have a color printer. And then all the descriptions, what was in each book. So I thought that was sort of nice. It was already on there, gave you details. So I'm going to go through and highlight it a little bit. I'm going to staple it. And I'm just right now, I'm just separating into grades. So I'm going to put it in 11th grade. I may get like this, right now I have these nice little separators. I might get the smaller ones if I want to separate by subject within each grade. I hadn't really thought details about how I was going to do this. It also has pockets, like if you've taken pictures of anything that year, field trips or, you know, labs or anything that you wanted to, you could stick that in there also. So I'm going to staple this together, highlight anything I feel like is important, and file that in this notebook here. So I'm going to continue to do that, and I'm also going to be marking some grades, and then I actually turn those in online on his umbrella. You just click the button, type in their name, and they have a code number for each student, and it just wants the grade, and you also have to put in how many credits. each semester. I do want to share something I did find. It is from our umbrella, and just to give you an idea what is asked of us, and that is, in public schools, a high school credit represents 150 hours of classroom time. For this homeschool student, there are 2 ways to earn high school credits. Complete a published curriculum. An example of this would be if your student is studying from Algebra 1 textbook. When it is complete, he has earned 1 credit, regardless of the amount of time he took. Whether he completed it in 1 semester or in 3 semesters, he will still receive 1 credit of algebra. So that's something to keep in mind, because it may take a student longer than you expected, or maybe they might breeze through a subject. But that was in textbook form. Okay. The other option is to complete 150 hours of hands-on learning. Sometimes a student will study a subject that has no textbook. For example, to satisfy the requirement of a credit for fine arts, a student may spend 20 hours singing in a choir, 70 hours performing in a play, and 25 hours in an art class, and 35 hours taking dance lessons. He should keep a record of the time spent doing everything, and when he has completed 150 hours, he will have earned 1 credit in fine arts. They call this credit journaling. Oh, I don't think I've ever heard it given a title. So, and that's usually how we do it anyways. A lot of times, like I said, for our history, there are 35 weeks in that. And once we have finished that, and sometimes the subjects that are in that book, I know that we're done and they have finished. The majority of the time we are following a curriculum. I do tweak curriculum. So that's why I sort of go through, sort of recalculate what we have done. And like I said, they may take one thing out, but on the other hand, they're doing research, spending extra time researching something out or writing a paper for me. So you just sort of have to weigh things out if you are using a textbook. Okay, for like his science, there was one chapter that we skipped. It more talked about how to purchase a telescope. It was just something we did not want to spend time on. And I know even for a lot of his questions, we would discuss and answer orally. So you just need to weigh out that in your grading also, because I know I'm getting ready to look at this and highlight things and come up with a grade for him. Okay, just to give you an idea, I really didn't want to share his personal grades. They could just get to a point where they're not going to share everything about themselves, and also they don't really give a grade point average until they're done, completely done. And they also have to score a certain grade on their testing, which is only required through the ACT or the CLT, which he will be taking. So this just sort of gives you an idea. This is just the grades and the credits, how many credits he earned for each one. So when I mentioned earlier about maybe filling out a idea of what you would like to accomplish, I would include your high schooler with this. I've shared these in videos in the past. This is just a sample. This is from My Joy-Filled Life. And there's lots of ways you can do it. You know, you definitely want to start with your 4 basic subjects, you know, fill them out: English, math, what math they're going to take. And then maybe you may not know the curriculum yet, but you can research that out later and just have this as a template of what you want to fulfill for them for their high school years. Now, this is just an example of course descriptions I printed off from Heart of Dakota. This is their U.S. History 2, their economics. Like, he did a lot of this, but we did not do this. We did another video instead, so I need to sort of tweak that, highlight what he did read and do. And this is like a full boxed curriculum, so he didn't do all the subjects. They have foreign language, finance, which he's going to do a different finance. He did do the speech, so I need to look through that. I know that needs to be tweaked a little bit. He did not do their astronomy. They had their own astronomy, and then they have options for math. So this is something you could print off if you are using Heart of Dakota fully and just put it in their notebook for course descriptions. Here is another thing I printed off from Compass Classroom. This is their economics for everybody. Sort of gives you the guidelines of how it works and the teacher, and then it gives you what each video was about and the lessons there and how to count it for credits. So now if I had to turn this into a college, I would retype it out and make it much nicer. But right now I'm just going to highlight what we've done and put it in his notebook. Okay, and so once I am done getting all the course descriptions and the grades finalized on his transcript, like I said, I'll put them on the computer, and anything that's consumable I will file in this container that I had, and I have dividers in that for 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th grade. So that is sort of how I'm doing it right now. I have done videos on how I've done things in the past, which is pretty much similar. It shows you how I filed this box for my oldest, and I actually compacted his high school years because he has graduated, he has finished an associate's, and he is actually back in school doing some things. So I just decided to compact it, and I got rid of some things that I didn't feel like were necessary. I actually did a video on that because what was nice about having the information was that I was able to share with you things I had forgotten that we had done. I had completely forgotten about some of the curriculum we had used, or maybe an elective he had done. So I hope that was helpful. I'll link those videos below. Please forgive me for some of these videos are in my early years beginning, and just wanted to share with you things along the way. So, all right. I hope this was sort of helpful and motivating. It is a little bit time consuming, but it's not hard, and really just making sure you have a record, put it away. Like I said, you could just print it off. So if they do want to go to college, you will be ready to just make a nicer, type it out. Maybe you want to do that now. Go ahead. Depends on how much time you have at this moment, and maybe they could even help you with it if that's what you need them to do. So for me, it's the importance of just keeping up and making sure the transcript is ready for his senior year, and making sure I get him scheduled for the CLT test, which is required for graduation. So, all right, I hope this video was helpful. If it was, give it a thumbs up. If you are new here, I would love for you to join us by subscribing. All right, I do appreciate you all watching, and we will talk to you again soon.